Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. My name is Mirella,
And I'm Zoe.
And I'm Cass.
and today we're going to react to the trailer of Vice Versa. I have watched the show already, but I don't remember the trailer. So this is going to be interesting. What about you?
I have no recollection of the trailer at all. I have seen part of the show before, and maybe I should just leave it there for now.
Good idea.
And I've never seen anything but some GIFs on Tumblr, so I'm going in pretty blind.
Okay, this is going to be fun. Let's do it.
Okay, I like how you're like, this is going to be fun. Okay, we'll see.
I am confident.
My end today, but it's fun.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Let's move to the most interesting part of our potential obsessions episode. I am so happy. I cannot wait to hear what are your thoughts.
Okay, so I feel like I should give a little bit of history now that we're into this. So I don't actually remember watching the trailer, but I feel like I must have watched the trailer because I did try and watch this show, and I say I did try and watch this show with a friend of mine. He's not heaps into BLs, but I made her watch other stuff. Like, for example, I made her watch Not Me, and she loved Not Me. We watched a couple of others that she liked, and then she was like, oh, what should we watch next? And this was just starting. And I was like, oh, what about this? And I feel like I must have linked her maybe I didn't watch the trailer. Maybe I just sent her the trailer and was like, what about this one? And I think I got maybe 6 episodes into it, and I kept falling asleep. I only like got bits of it because she would say something to me, and my body must have been like tuned into her, because every time she spoke to me I would wake up, but I slept through the entire show. So I was like, I don't know about this. Like, we talked about doing this, and I was like, Morella's really excited, but I don't know. And then
actually, you were the one who suggested doing this podcast.
Oh no, I suggested this now, but like, you've been talking about this for months.
I knew.
I'm sorry, you have definitely said this would make a great podcast multiple times.
I got really into it, and I said this would be very interesting would be a lot of fun to dig into in a podcast, but I did not suggest doing the podcast.
You are correct, it was my idea, but I had a weak moment. I'm like, this is how much I love you. But yeah, no, it's really funny though, because I feel like Jimmy C have clearly broken me with Last Twilight, because I sat and watched that trailer with a extremely stupid grin on my face, so much so that my cheeks are now hurting and I hate myself a little bit.
Let me tell you my story. So I tried watching it. I remember watching like 2 or 3 episodes when it was airing, but I was obsessed with Not Me back then. Like, I did not really care about anything else. I was not interested in getting into other shows. It has issues. It has some things that are holding it back that don't really work for it well. Like, for example, the way I saw it, what made me probably drop it is that it's a slow burn with lots of product placements and references to shows that I didn't know or care about. And they were kind of in your face. And instead of making you more interested, which I think maybe especially the references were supposed to do, they kind of threw you off, and you did not ended up not focusing on the stuff that it's actually interesting and important.
It's interesting you mentioned the references to the other show, because that is one of the things that I have seen probably all of the shows that are referenced. I would imagine at least 90% of them, if not all of them. And I felt that way. Like, so many people were so excited about the references, and I was just like, I do not like that they did this. So that was a me thing, but I'll be interested to see how I feel about it when I watch it again. But the product placement, like in the trailer, there was product placement. Like, we didn't actually see the product, but I knew the scene was product placement because he was cleaning him with a makeup pad in a bathtub, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Listen, it's really, it's like that, but at the same time, I grew fond of those product placements. I don't know what they did, but they're so freaking fun and interesting, and actually they give you ideas about what's happening. So they're kind of done in a very like awkward way, but they're actually really smart. I don't know how to explain it. You'll have to get through it. Like you'll
I
see.
mean, I do think that product placement in Thai BLs is one of those like weird phenomenon that like you eventually just get you eventually get to the place where you accept it, and then you're the person who's going, oh, I wonder what that iced tea tastes like.
I've definitely seen that before, which I didn't realize. I think I must have watched it after Bad Buddy. I feel like my biggest takeaways were more actor based than story based. So I got very distracted by the Om and Nanon of it all in the beginning. Divorce feelings.
Oh,
But
actually, I think
so when this was aired,
yeah.
it was like on the coattails of Bad Buddy. So like this was really clever, actually, the way they rolled this
But
out.
really not,
Potentially.
because it ended up hurting them because people
It
were
did.
excited. That Om Nanon fans were excited to see Om and Nanon in this year's, but they were not really there. So they got disappointed. They didn't want Jimmy and C, you know, they didn't want the stars of the show. So
Yeah,
maybe it
the
wasn't really the best
presentation.
idea to have them.
Yeah. And so what were you saying, Kess? Sorry, I think I cut you off.
Yeah, so it was all actor stuff. So got distracted by them, then got very excited to see Namtan in it. She's wonderful. And then honestly,
Girl crush.
Yeah, C was like the only thing I could look at for most of it. I was just like,
come on,
him.
Why don't you use the pun? C was the only thing that you could see. Come on, come on.
See by the sea, the only thing that you can see.
Seriously, but hang on a minute. At the beginning, right, when the trailer starts, and you said there's someone, because we were trying to make sure we were watching the same trailer, right? And I think, Cass, it was you who said there's someone sitting on the beach in a suit. I blinked, and suddenly he had no shirt on, and I was like, what happened?
Tale, his name is Tale. It means sea in Thai as well.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, she's like, she's like, Easter egg. I know all the Easter eggs.
Yes. So, what you see there? It's another day. It's from another scene, and he drowns, and this is how he gets transported to the other universe, where he inhabits the body of a different person. I like how once he's transported, when he wakes up in the other universe, the scene is upside down.
I did think they set up the overall story well in the trailer. Like, not really knowing the plot that well, I understand the gist of it, that he's in another universe. He has to figure out how to get home. It's connected to finding what seems like your soulmate. I thought that was well done.
Do you know what? I don't reckon I have ever seen this. I reckon, because I remember a really dark trailer, and I think I reckon it must have been the pilot trailer that they released, because there was a whole scene with like Jimmy and C, and it looked like they were sitting in the cave underground. Like, I know it wasn't a cave; it was like some.
It was a bar. I think it was a bar.
Yeah. But it was there was just like a swimming pool, like some kind of body of water or something that they were sitting with their feet in or something. I don't know. But it was like, it looked like it was inside a dark structure. And I'm like, I kept waiting for that scene in this trailer, and it never happened. And I was just like, have I seen this? Yeah, I think that must have been the original pilot that I'm thinking of. So I actually don't think I've seen this trailer before. I think as well, like, I wasn't really sure. I'm gonna take your word for it when you say that the trailer sets up the story well, because I kind of already knew the premise anyway. And as I said, I know I'm like 99% sure I've seen the pilot trailer, so I felt that way about this, that I felt that it was what do you call it? I felt that it was telling the story in a good way, but I wasn't sure if that was just because I kind of already knew the story. So given that you hadn't seen any of it, I'm going to take your word for it when you say it lines it up nicely.
I do think it sets up nicely, or I'm not sure if I would follow that they were in someone else's body and that's what all the reflections meant. So I might be biased there.
That was kind of explained in the pilot trailer, definitely, because I remember everyone was super. I remember what you're talking about too, Marilla. Everyone was super excited about the Omnanon of it, because I think initially people thought that it was going to be like they were going to be in the drama with Jimmy and C, but then it does kind of explain it. I think in the pilot from memory, but I did actually think that you were probably going to see them a lot more than you actually did. But I mean, it makes sense that you didn't, because obviously the story is not actually about those characters, as far as I know. I don't know. I slept through most of it.
You will sleep no more. I'll make sure of that.
That's all right. I might be drunk though. There could be alcohol.
That's good. So the scene at the end with nom 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 nom.
Yeah,
The
I was like,
origin of the
yeah. So
fandom.
that's where the fandom thing came from. I take it, the nom nom.
Apparently, it was an improvised scene.
I'm like, what would possess you to improvise?
Yeah, I gotta ask, some of the scenes look very excruciatingly cheesy. Are they better when you watch them live?
Cheesy? They're excruciatingly cute.
Oh my
cute.
goodness. Cass.
I'm gonna get unfriended, I think.
So, I mean, we've been talking around it, but maybe we decided to react to this trailer because I told Morella I would watch Vice Versa with her. That I would try again.
Not only watch Vice Versa, we're going to record a podcast series for Vice Versa.
So he's going to try.
Yeah, I think we're going to do it because there's no way you won't fall in love with this series. There's just no way.
Well, as I said, I'm pretty sure that Jimmy C have broken me, given that, as I said, my cheeks are still aching.
You know what? No, they've healed you, okay? They haven't broken you. They've healed you.
I don't know. I felt broken. Yes. I felt slightly unhinged while I was watching
it. Or at least, why I'm saying this is because after Last Twilight was a traumatic experience for, I don't know, maybe, yeah, Cass, was it for you? Because for us, it was like we invested so much time and we had certain expectations, and then it didn't go the way we expected, and it was weird. It was a weird time.
And so then healing.
Yeah, but then I watched Vice Versa and it healed me. It put the pieces of my heart back together. It's a healing experience, and it's just exactly what you need after Last Twilight.
I'm happy that you're happy, but as I said, when I was watching it, I felt slightly unhinged because I had like a Joker style grin on my face, and I'm like, oh, that's a bit weird, but yeah, I was really happy to see them, and for some reason, I don't know, I was really happy to see them play different characters. So I feel like that's good, because that means I'm excited to see them do something else, even besides this. You know what I mean? Which I knew already anyway, but like. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how much damage Last Twilight had done to me. So,
Cass, did it make you want to watch it? Or is it too cheesy for you?
No, I'm definitely curious. And I actually really want to like it because it reminds me of Dangerous Romance in that it's two very talented actors who were kind of punished publicly by people's expectations. And so I like the idea that people are going back and rediscovering it now that they've fallen in love with Jimmy and C and learning that it was a good story. And I also like the idea, it sounds like it has a lot of layers that need to be unpacked. And I like the idea of listening to you both unpack them and kind of like hold my hand through it.
I can.
I'm looking forward to it.
She's like, Marilla's like, I cannot wait.
The thing about Dangerous Romance, like I remember when I started watching it, at some point I had this weird vibe, this weird idea. Like right when I said that it would be fun to talk about in a podcast, and I referenced Dangerous Romance, this is when I had this idea. My reasoning was that the story is told in a certain way that reminded me of Dangerous Romance. And so it got me curious. I was like, are there like the same writers involved, same people maybe working? Because it felt very similar in a way that I couldn't explain. And so I went on my drama list and I checked, and they have the same screenwriters. It's just that Vice Versa has an additional one. Vice Versa has 3 screenwriters and Dangerous Romance has 2.
Yeah, that makes me very excited. I also really want to see C's legendary eye acting, which I feel like he did a really nice job in Last Twilight, but in a different way. And I want to see him like pining and longing.
We got so many Mork, Jimmy heart eyes, didn't we? It's time we get to experience the C version.
Yes, I am in love with C's character. I love Tully with my whole heart. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's the Mork of this series, I feel like.
See, like, how could I not suggest that we do this? Look how excited you are. you're like floating around. I feel like I should get a piece of string and tether you in case you just disappear.
Please do that. Take care of me, please. This series is too much for me. I cannot get enough of it.
So like it's you know, I mean, it's fun, I guess. I mean, I feel like you feel about this show the way I feel about, and I'm gonna this is the second time in like a week I think that we've spoken about I Will Knock You. Yeah. You knew it was coming, right?
Yes.
And I feel like for me, I Will Knock You is one of those shows that I think I would like to make every person I know watch. And then I think we will certainly make every person that they know watch it as well.
Yeah, we will certainly have a podcast about I Will Knock You.
I think I won't be able to help myself.
Yeah, well, it's not like you have to. What? I am.
Or we won't actually ever have a podcast about I Will Knock You. It will just be that every podcast we do at some point, or rather in the process of it, I will mention I Will Knock You. And if you just string all those together, eventually there will be a podcast about I Will Knock You. Hidden gems and all the other podcasts. But no, it's a really good show. It's one of those shows where it's like, you just feel really good when you're watching it. And I feel like this makes you feel really good. So I like that. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully with less creepy Joker face that it was giving me earlier, because like that was like my cheeks are aching right now. And I'm like, I don't need that. I just the giddy I'm good with, but the aching cheeks not so much.
She's like, don't make me smile. It's weird.
I was like, it was really weird. I was like, what is happening to me right now? Why am I grinning like a fool?
She was so adamant. She was like, I don't like this. It's so boring. I will never watch it. Never.
This is just the trailer. This isn't the show yet. But like, as I said, I was sitting here grinning like a stupid fool. And then they did the scene with like the makeup pad. And I just went, oh God. And I was like, oh yeah, okay.
It's like
it's
you
all
love
coming
it
back to me now. The stuff I was awake for.
You hate it, but you also love it. I don't know how to explain. Like snow in Thailand. I don't know. You have to get through it. I'll hold your hand. Yeah.
I mean, look, I've watched some really bad BLs in my lifetime, and because back in the day they were all kind of bad for some reason or another. Like there was always something that like either really sucked about them, the product placement was like crazy insane, and it was like they hadn't quite worked out how to write it in properly yet either. So it was so like obvious and blatant. Like it was basically if they had stopped the scene and like turned to the camera and like did an actual presentation on the product, then like you wouldn't be surprised. Like it was kind of a bit like that. And then and the ones that were good had these bad moments because like it was like really toxic, or the stereotypes that they were using were like super offensive, or like there would be a story arc that you would just be going, no sweetie, no, but then the rest of it you would love. Like, so I mean, so I feel like I should be able to get behind one that's like not 100% like amazing in every way anyway, that has its cringe moments or has its oh my god, I watched Secret Crush on You and like made it through without dying, so didn't hate it. So I feel like if this has some super cringe moments, I should be able to survive.
Yes, I'm curious because you said you're the one who knows least about this series, and you said you made notes. I'm curious to know what notes you made, how you saw this.
You literally wrote in the group chat, wow, I have so many thoughts, and I feel like we just keep talking, so I think we should shut up and let you explain what your thoughts are.
I feel like I've said most of them, but let me read you my notes. They say port key, bathtub / cheesy, C, C with 2 holes, almond and nut, Nampan, and have I found with another heart. So not the most eloquent.
I love it though. Like well, it's better than mine. Mine literally was Jimmy C have clearly broken me. I watched this stuff grin on my face. The nom nom bit at the end. That was like they were my entire notes. Like I was like, I'm pretty sure that encompasses pretty much most of what I was gonna say. So, but yeah.
I made notes the way I do when we watch every series, but now that considering that the both of you did not say a lot, and I know how things are going, I should probably shut up and just not read them.
It's hard. It's hard not to do spoilers, like when you know what's coming next, or when you know what's like. It's interesting doing.
However, like, are there any lines though that stood up to you in this trailer? Something that you remember, something maybe that you feel like maybe a spoiler or that
honestly, I it's one of those things I really didn't pay that much attention to that side of it. Like this is not going to be like a critical breakdown of the trailer for me, because I would need to watch it like another time.
Well, it's a pity. It's a pity because this series deserves like a critical reaction. Like, and even this trailer, like there are some lines that basically tell you the answer to some of the biggest questions regarding the series.
Yeah. I mean, I like it's, as I said, it's one of the. I think because I was so bemused by the fact that I was like grinning like a stupid fool, it was completely distracting to me. There were things I was liking, like visually, like I loved the color usage. There were lots of things that I really enjoyed, but then when I started to pay attention, then the bathtub scene happened and they lost me. I was back to grinning like a fool, but more in a kind of like seriously kind of way.
When he goes to the other universe, like it looks very different. It feels different. It has like these colors. It
Yeah, they
has.
use a
It looks
I do remember that they use a different coloring, like
coloring and everything looks very clean and stuff looks expensive, and I feel like maybe they've invested a lot in this series, and this is why they kind of have to be so obvious with the product placement.
That could be the case, yeah. If they've used a lot to, um, to get that money to actually be able to do the stuff they wanted to do with it.
Yeah, because it's really pretty. This series is really pretty.
Yeah, because before Jimmy C did this, did they do a BL together? Like, because like it's fairly standard in the industry before you give them their own show that they're like a side partnership or something. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. So this was a lot to invest in them without really knowing what the outcome would be.
Well, and actually, BX, who directed Theory of Love, now Cherry Magic, he noticed C when he played like a minor role in a series or a movie, and he just noticed him and he liked him, and so he wanted him for this series. Jimmy had some roles before that, but for him it was also like big. They were new.
Yeah, he had played against other people and stuff like that, because I knew Jimmy. So when this started, I more or less watched this because of Jimmy. I didn't really know much about C at the time, but and I was it as I said, it's very unusual for them to do that. It's very rare that although I think maybe it's happening a little bit more these days, but like old school thing, like you would get like 2 or 3 like side partnerships or something, and if if your partnership blew up a show or something or whatever, then next offering you'd get your own show.
I feel like maybe they got really inspired by the idea of the series, and maybe Pax really was very excited maybe to work with C. He probably had a lot of faith in him. He saw lots of potential, and he put his trust in him.
Yeah,
and it pays off. It pays off. I think he did an amazing job. They both did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like Not Me. Like Pinucci had earmarked that for Off Gun, like back before Theory of Love, and we didn't get it for such a long time, partly because of the pandemic, but also just because she was like, yeah, you guys aren't ready for this yet. So she was so invested in having them play those roles that she like sat on it for like 2 or 3 years, waiting until she thought they were ready. Which is really interesting. And so like he obviously, I just said, PX probably obviously had seen something in C, that he was able to convince GMM to invest as well on a ship pairing that was basically untested.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, and I think they're a good pairing. They have good chemistry. I mean, Last Twilight was an amazing show until, like, it was great until it ended in your episode 10. But yeah, and that's huge in part to them. Like, it was, they. I'm dreading this a little less than I thought I would be.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm really. Yes. Although I was expecting this because I'm
Look, you
just
just wanted the opportunity to be able to say, I told
I
you so.
told you.
But I reserve the right. I am going to be hard on this. You need to be aware that I am going, if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to try to convince you that I'm right. You have to
I'm
give
not
me that.
scared. I'm not scared, and
I
we'll
feel like
see.
maybe.
We'll see.
Wait, I have a question about how you're going to structure the series.
So we're actually, by the time this comes out, we will have already posted our potential obsessions for Not Me. And so what our plan is we will be airing 1 week Not Me, with a kind of episode reaction, critical discussion style type episode, where basically it kind of gets split in the middle. One half will be posted on a Thursday and the second half will be posted on a Saturday, kind of on our normal sort of schedule that we would normally post on. And then the following week will be vice versa. So you'll get one episode of Not Me 1 week, and then vice versa the next week, and then Not Me, and then vice versa, and so on and so forth. And that's our plan. We'll see how it goes. We reserve the right, because neither of these shows are currently airing. If something starts airing and we want to be reacting to it live or something, we may put these on hold, but we're not. That's not our plan. It's just it's something that may crop up if we're wanting to sort of not get spoiled by something, so we want to get on it while it's actually airing.
But both shows you both have a really deep knowledge of and have been out for a few years. Do you think that you'll talk about episodes in the context of the whole show? Like, this moment's important, you should pay attention to it?
It's really, really hard. So we recorded the first podcast reaction for episode 1 of Not Me last night, in actual fact. And it's like what Morella was saying before. She's got all these notes, but she knows what happens. And so she knows, like, this is important because of this. As you said, like, this is interesting because of that. And when we were recording, there were several times we both kind of had to go, we'll talk about this later. Because if you say too much, you'll give things away. And like, okay,
But I feel like if you watch it, if you're listening to our podcast, you kind of have to assume the responsibility, not assume responsibility. Yeah, there will be spoilers. The series has been out for 2 years already. Like, we're going to talk about things in the context of the fact that it's already out and we know the ending. It's obvious that we know the ending. We cannot pretend. We cannot pretend that we don't know what happens.
But we were trying to. I felt like we were very much trying to kind of not go
take
too
things
far ahead of
one
ourselves.
at a time.
Yeah, because we want to also. I mean, obviously, we're assuming that most people listening to a podcast about Not Me, or a podcast about, say, vice versa, these shows have been around for a while, have probably seen them already, and are like, yay, I'm going to revisit this. This is so much fun. There wasn't a podcast about Not Me when it was airing. Like, how much fun, whatever, because it's got quite a big cult following and stuff like that. Lots of people love it. And so I guess our hope is that like people will join us in like a rewatch, you know, like and then get to enjoy the podcast. And for those people listening, it wouldn't matter too much about how we structure it. However, I'm also kind of hoping, because once again, like I Will Knock You, Not Me is a show that I feel like everybody should watch. Like everybody, not just everybody I know, but like everybody. And so it's I'm hoping that we will get people who have listened to our Dangerous Romance podcast, to our Last Twilight, to our, oh my god, what's the Cooking Crush? I was trying to remember the others. I'm like, I know there's another one. To our Cooking Crush podcast, and who enjoyed those and maybe hasn't seen Not Me. Maybe they've just stumbled on BLs and like perhaps Last Twilight was their first show or something. I would love for them to join us on the journey of Not Me. And so
and on the journey of vice versa, because this show is
yes. And so I feel like there's a little bit of a responsibility to not go too far, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be talking about, oh, this is so funny that this happens here because this is, you know, when how it ends, and then like I don't want to be talking about the ending in episode 1. So it was a tricky experience. There was definitely a couple of moments where we were like, this can wait till later. Yeah, I think as you said, Kes, because we do know it quite well, like we talked about it quite a bit. The way Morella and I kind of met was I did sort of a somewhat meta thread post on Twitter, and she liked something, and also I said something about Dorian Gray, which, you know, that's our thing now. And so it was, you know, it was one of those things. Like I used to actually do I was excited. I did lots of posts about it. I had lots to say. So we are pretty, you know, we've both watched it multiple times. So we are like, you know, it's not like we're going to forget something later on. If we think of something when we're watching episode 2 that we want to talk about, but if we talk about it in episode 2, it might, you know, kind of ruin it later on for episode 5. We'll remember to talk about it in episode 5. We're not going to forget. Like, so it's, I think it's going to be fun. We had so much fun recording it, didn't we?
Yes.
So I guess specifically, since we are talking about vice versa right now, my understanding is vice versa, a lot of people find it really confusing. And so I'm wondering if, with the knowledge, at least on Mirella's side of having watched the whole thing, if you will be like holding people's hands through it a bit more, or you're going to treat it more like someone is watching week over week.
I feel like she's going to be treating it like she's holding someone's hand, because she's going to be holding my hand.
But, you know, if something happens that is important and you must notice it in order for it to make sense for you later, I think I'm going to point that thing out. Look, this is happening.
My preference. So I think hoping you would do that. Yeah,
I think that's different. Like, I mean, I think if it's something that clearly is like was missed, you know, like I feel like we had a few moments in Dangerous Romance where I know I banged on about like some bits where I was like, I can't believe even Last Twilight, the episode 9 mountain scene, I was like, how do people like interpret that so wrong? I mean, okay, once again, it's my interpretation that everyone else is interpreting it wrong, but I'm like, this is clear. What's happening in this moment is clearly one thing. How did everybody miss that? Like, and not everybody, but there were a lot of people.
I feel like maybe their intention was different, but the way we saw it, we thought it was more interesting. And so we decided that our interpretation is better and it is the correct one. Yeah, because it felt
important.
You know,
yeah. Oh my God. I now think you guys were wrong and the show was going for the other interpretation. That's so depressing.
Do you know what though? And that's just like, I don't know though. I don't know. Like, Jimmy said stuff. I don't know. I don't think so. There's too many things he said in interviews that make me think that I don't know what the story's interpretation was, or but I feel like that scene is definitely how we interpreted it. But that's just me. But like, I think there's a big difference between, as like Morella pointing out something to me that I've completely missed because I was, you know, bamboozled by something else, or I happened to fall asleep again. In between killing me, she will explain why it's important.
we'll see. I'm not sure. I have watched the series with someone already, and I've spoiled them majorly at the beginning. And I feel like this is one of those shows that gets better on rewatch. And once you're spoiled, it is more interesting to watch. But I don't really want to spoil it, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll figure it out along the way.
And this is different. This is a different experience for us because our other three podcasts and even our potential obsessions, like this one and the Not Me potential obsession reactions are different as well because we've seen these before. Well, actually I hadn't seen this trailer, but like in general we've seen the shows before. And so everything else we did, we went in blind. And so like it's like when we first started Dangerous Romance, we had no idea what we were doing. There's a reason why like episode 1 of the podcast is like what, two episodes of the show or 3 episodes of the show or something, because we literally had no idea what we were going to do or how we were going to do it. And then we kind of like stumbled around a bit and went, oh my god, we really have a lot to say with this. And that's when you started getting the extra episodes because one wasn't enough. We just had so much we wanted to talk about. So it's going to be a similar sort of thing. We're not really sure what you're going to get. That hey, that'll be part of the fun. Come and join us on the journey.
Yes, Cass, do you have anything to add regarding vice versa?
I mean, I'm definitely gonna treat it like whenever you have an episode out, I'm gonna watch that episode and listen along. I haven't decided what order, listen first or watch first. But I will treat it like you're guiding me through it the whole way.
It's so much responsibility.
It's so funny because this will be an interesting one for you too, because you haven't seen Vice Versa, but I assume you're going to listen to the Not Me podcast as well. Are you going to rewatch that one?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you have seen Not Me, but you haven't seen Vice Versa. So that'll be an interesting thing. And it's so funny to me that you said you haven't decided whether you're going to listen first or watch first, because you have an interesting history with our podcast. So, but we've spoken about that before. All right. Well, I think we've probably said all we can say. I don't actually know that we said much about the trailer, but we're going to watch the show, so you'll get it from us there.
Yeah. So follow Cass on Tumblr. Cass?
Sorry, I always forget my username when Cass. I'm at Cass in the Perth Chim Zone, which they will link in the show notes because that is not very phonetic.
Follow us on Critically Obvious on Tumblr, Twitter, on Spotify. Interact with us. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Thanks for joining us too, Cass.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Goodbye.